Okay, folks. Today there's no tutorial here. We are going to make a beat using the given recycle sample from the beat contest. And I have nothing planned out yet, but I will try to make my typical workflow inside of Reason, with the exception that I use this given sample instead of saved samples on my hard drive. So I will try to isolate the parts I need in the sound characteristics I need and go from there in Reason. So I've imported the loop. Let's play it. First things we're gonna change is set this to beats. For simplicity, we just slice this in 16th notes. And as we see, there are too many slices now, but we can easily delete all those unwanted. This is just to show you how I would go about that. So I would typically slice in 16ths and delete the slices that I don't need or that are unnecessary, or I would use the sensitivity slider. I have to say I just liked the speed of this. We start by changing the beat's tempo. Yeah, that sounds good. And I just opened the stretch all the way to get rid of these quiet parts. So if we set this to 0, you can clearly hear the jumps between that, and to avoid this we open stretch up all the way. What I do now is we isolate a sound. So I choose this kick here. What I want to do now is drag this in here, and we just get the audio kick. Let's drag this to the right so it isn't in the way. Now we search for another hit. Typically I would go for a snare now. And we could predefine the length of our sample with the decay knob. I guess this snare sounds a little bit better. We take this one. We import it in here. So we name this kick, and this is the snare, and we take it to the right. Next thing we want to search is a hi-hat. And since there are low tones in there I don't need, we take an equalizer and cut off everything under 900, I say. Or be a little more gentle on this, so okay, that sounds okay to me. And we drag it into our composition and name this head. We shorten it and take it to the right. Next thing is, let's reset this to the whole sample. I want to isolate a bass, and maybe the hi-hat could be the right thing, so we cut the highs. And isolate that so I could find it easier and faster. Okay, that's a muffled bass. We could take away some of the transients. I guess that's enough. Just play around with the EQ a bit. Okay. I guess this could be enough. Okay, we import this. Bass. So we got all our samples. Now we take the original loop in its slowed down version we just made. So we just play around with these settings or with the knobs themselves to give us another feeling and alter the sound a bit, maybe to a better sound stage. For instance, turning the decay would result in a cleaner sound, because all that dirt in the quiet parts will get removed, as you hear. Okay, I just like the standard one. We could try to pitch it 8 semitones down. Okay, we just leave it on its default pitch and insert it into the rack. This is important. We don't want the audio, we want the Dr. Octarex for that. So, I guess we could close up, recycle, and I don't save it. First of all, need to match our tempo we set and insert it into our Rex loop and disable this red dot here, so the Dr. Octarex wouldn't play the patch, he only plays the MIDI notes. This is our loop. And now we get to refine our samples here. So we zoom a little bit in and make this a little bit bigger. For the kick, I would try to shorten it a bit and fade it a little more out. Maybe make it a bit faster via time stretch. We just need to make sure it is on universal. And I guess it could be a little bit faster and a little bit less blend. Maybe we shorten it this way, and it's still a bit too long. Now we do the same for the snare. We also could open our clips. This is the kick now, and we slice it at this point, because at this point the kick really starts. If we zoom in and we just give one of blend in, and we need the hi-hat, which sounded good by its own, but we also need to trim it. By the way, you zoom in and out by using the Z key. And let's double check if this... I guess there's a... we roughly recreate this original loop, and it's muted. So this is a very long and tedious process to get all the sounds right and all the sounds in the right rhythm. I don't want to lose any more time on that. I guess you get the idea. You also could take the sample, import it into a Kong or a redrum. So you just need to bounce this into a new sample, and it's already named kick, like our channel for that. And we could just import this by dragging into our Kong. And now there's the kick. You just need to raise the level here in NN Nano to 127, so the full velocity range gets played and the full level of the original sample gets played. We could do the same for our snare or our head. So we just import them, and the same goes for our head. So basically we could delete this here, raise our levels of our samples, and just play this on our keyboard. You get the idea. Maybe we should try a little bit around with this. We mute this recycle beat completely, and I hear a little muffle on that snare, which is basically a bass tone that's buried under it. We try to filter this out, so we need a high pass for that and a frequency. And maybe we need a little more attack on that. Okay, that sounds okay. The kick sounds okay too, but as you hear, there's something higher that goes behind the kick, so in the tail of the kick. So I try to remove that. On the hi-hat we insert a tape echo for this. And to keep things simple, I will take a player, and we know there is beat map, and we decide to pick something that's a little bit hip-hop related. So maybe we try Trapped, just play and see what. So the hi-hats are definitely not cool, but I like the bass drum and snare pattern of that. So we just send this to our track so it doesn't change over this period of time. And maybe we try to give this a little drill vibe with the hi-hats. Okay, I guess the second half was the best I could come up with. We go to the quantization settings and change this to 1/8 T. Quantize this, and we get this straight triplet shaker. To be fair, this should be some kind of an old school beat, so we make a dub for that. Duplicate the drum patch of the hi-hat and place it on the next stage. And there's where we activate our tape echo, and we set this to 8 notes and spread it in here. Or let's make this more fun. We take every second of this hi-hat, tune it up to drum 5, and we insert the same patch here with a little bit altered timing option. So we get a little wonkiness in there. So if I mute the others and we play it like that. So what we could do now is we pan one of them left, one of them right, and we pitch one up and the other one even more. Let's hear what we've done so far. Sounds a little bit like a clock. Let's combine it with these triolic ones. And let's try the bass drum and snare to that. And to make sure none of these heads are gonna interfere with each other, we take them to the same mute group. So everything that's on mute group A should be mute the other ones. So this is just a demonstration of what you could do with that. I don't think this beat will come around anytime soon, but this is just how we could use this. So we got our bass sound left. Let's cut it here, and I think we should insert this into a mimic. So we bounce it in a new sample, take ourselves a mimic, reset it, and insert our bass sample. So it should be automatically analyzed, and we could set it to here. So now the bass tone should be in the right key. If I press a C, it should be playing a C. So we set the stretch speed to 50%, which makes it a whole octave lower. And now we got our bass tone. We compress it a little bit, or maybe not that much. And we should try to isolate the sound a bit. At this point, I'm just messing around with all this stuff. We could throw a screen 4 on that. So we just raised the tempo a bit, a little bit more old school. something like that. So now it's the time we change up the drums a bit, because the style of our beat has changed. And also we could use the same bass sample in the mimic, so we just duplicate it, delete the MIDI clip, and treat it totally different. So we change this to granular and disable this, disable that. And maybe remove the scream from that. So if we high pass this, and we need to decrease the resonance. I will insert a sidechain tool in here and send out one of the first mimic into the sidechain input of our sidechain tool, which is contained in our drone or lead sound here. And so I just sidechained our, it's called lead here, with the bass. So every time the bass hits, the lead gets dug down, which makes it a little bit to one sound, because they are not too far from another, but they sound a little bit coherent because it's the same sample. Which is a cool filler for these empty parts. I could sit here for maybe 2 more hours and just playing around with this little information we got from that beat. I could also fill it up with all these other instruments and work around it and make something that's maybe sounding better. But I guess that's all I've got today. So this was just my example for getting started with recycled sample, or how to get about it, because we got these split samples and other stuff we imported into Kong. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like and a comment down below if so. And please consider subscribing if you aren't right now. See you next time. Have a great day. Bye.